Hello, welcome to the James Linker Experience.
This is called the Old Man of the Mountains, located Ute Valley in Colorado, USA. Ever heard seeing is believing? What do you believe?
Nobody is telling me that as pareidolia, whatever. That is a face. Now that that's been established, the real question is, whose face is that?
Hey, bro. What is that?
It's a LIDAR scanner, bro.
What are you LIDARing?
The entire store. I'm basically creating like a Google Maps point and click walkthrough of the building. We send it off to corporate and they take a look at it, figure out what they're gonna change up for remodel stuff.
I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's weird, bro.
Oh yeah.
Worst Terminator ever?
Are you John Connor?
Yes, I am, mate. What are you going to do about it? Scan me with your nerd device? That is an alleged unidentified submerged vehicle, a USO. The reports of strange craft underwater are perhaps less publicised, but still as mysterious as UFOs. I know that's not a drone fish is about all I've got.
Well, I was just walking in the cornfields, minding my own business. Typical Friday night in Indiana. Thought I was all by myself. But apparently, I was not. I'm talking quietly because I'm a little frightened. This is happening. It's so weird. There's so many weird things happening out here all the time. You really never know. What? Here, I'll show you guys a better angle. Pretty night. Well, I guess I'm just gonna hang out here for a little bit with my new friends and...
She had me until she stood in front of them and they didn't eat her. That has to be fake, but I'm sure in our strange world there are people who take part in rituals like that. Remind me to never eat corn again.
Yo, what even is going on? I took off one day, and I come back to all this crazy, satanic even stuff. We'll get back to the satanic commercial that they put on the news in 1 minute because what they're actually doing will scare the crap out of you. That is, if you're not protected. So Macron here has a eye, but it gets a lot crazier than just the picture you saw at the beginning because one, geopolitically wise, but also after people were aware of his eye looking like that, he started wearing sunglasses to hide it later on. So why is he, if he just got hurt, you know, like there was an incident, then why would he be covering it up with sunglasses? This is not 2010, where you could walk up with very obvious sinister things happening and no one would know about it. Unrelated. I wonder what got in his eye. Then this commercial, this news station, showed a satanic broadcast in the middle of this. Now, I'm gonna tell you just how crazy that is and why. This does not happen by accident. They, the news, had the feed for this. You can't just pick up someone's feed. This isn't a radio. Sam reaching, but it's an obvious fact that this was displayed on purpose.
I've seen this sort of thing before where people make videos saying powerful people have an issue with their eye or down one side of their face and relate it to some sort of demonic influence. I mean, that news channel cutting to a satanic ritual is bizarre. I'm sure they'll say it was an honest mistake. But how does that even happen?
On April 19th of 2025, this video was uploaded to TikTok by a user named Christine. And in the video, the on-screen text gives us the context, and it explains how her father had set up a Ring camera because every night at 2 a.m. without fail, he would hear loud crashing noises outside of his apartment. And after reviewing the footage, he sees his neighbor. But what happens next is truly bizarre. You can see the neighbor, seemingly for no reason at all, slamming the door multiple times, almost in a trance-like state. And many people did not believe Christine, claiming that she set this up for views. So she uploaded another video to prove that this was a ritual that happened every night.
Who needs an alarm clock? Just tell Jeff to whip his shirt off and go downstairs. He could have been sleepwalking, but he looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. That is not good. Probably need more than a Ring camera for a situation like that.
Can anybody tell me what's going on with this pine tree? Can anybody? I don't get it.
I think that is a nest.
One of the worst episodes yet of why you think you want my job, but definitely don't really. Right now my tent is being dismantled by leafcutter ants. It's about 2 a.m. and I've been trying to sleep, and there's about 10 million leafcutter ants outside of this tent, and all they are doing is cutting leaf-size holes out of my tent. They are carrying away the nylon into the night, and because the leafcutter ants are working to dismantle every single thing that I own, they're opening up holes big enough for me to put my fist through, which means everything else in the Amazon is coming into my tent. And because of that, I keep turning on the lights. I just woke up because there's a leafcutter ant using its pincer jaws to my ear to try and carry off a piece. And inside this tent right now are ants and termites and mosquitoes, some sort of centipede, hoppers, moths, and some insects that I can't even identify. This is one of those times where you know it's 4 more hours until morning. If you get out of the tent, you're going to get destroyed by mosquitoes. It's raining outside, you're going to get wet. This is what camping in the wild is. Sometimes you put your tent in the wrong place and the leafcutter ants and the gods of the jungle decide it's going to be the worst night ever. All I can do is try and get some sleep, and I wake up every few seconds to try and slap something off my face or something flies up my nose. This is one of those nightmare nights, man.
You should just do what Bear Grylls did and sleep in hotels. I was gutted when that story broke. I was all about to drink my own pee and everything. You have to respect these guys that stream their own survival channels and really experience all of that nightmare fuel. I hope he's making loads of money, or at least enjoying it, because yes, that ain't the easiest job.
But as they look at the cameras, they see this. A woman named Michelle and her husband Jonathan from Alabama explained that while in their home, located deep in the Appalachian Mountains in the northern part of Cumberland Plateau, they pulled up their cameras after hearing the alarm going off and the sounds of their farm animals agitated when they noticed what looks like a pale man crawling toward their house.
Right there. What the heck? No. Yeah, but you see where it's standing?
Yeah, it's looking in the window at you.
It's out our window. What?
It's a good way to get your face.
Why is it always in the Appalachians that these things happen? So that is a real clip of whatever that is going up to their window. I hope it's encrypted, because if that's a man in his underpants, that's even more terrifying.
Rep Eric Bolson just talked about a object or a UFO that has crash landed in a classified location which is too big to move, and they built a facility around it, right? Check this out.
There is reportedly an object that is not in this country that is so large it cannot be moved, that they've built an entire building around it. And I think either Greer or another individual has actually mentioned this site, but I'm not going to mention it because it is a classified location. But there is there's reported a really large object, and that's one of the locations that I'm requesting to get to. It's going to involve a lot to make that happen, but that may be the final destination.
Now, I found the clip that Greer referenced where this thing is located.
They had dealt with a facility outside Seoul, South Korea, where there was a huge extraterrestrial vehicle that they had downed with apparently some type of electronic warfare system that was they had to carve out a huge part of the mountain just to contain this object because it was too big to move to any other site, and that it is still there. So this is just sort of like, the very tip of a vast iceberg that we're going to start unfurling here.
Now, that clip was over 2 years ago of Greer talking about this. Now, Ross Coulthart has also spoke about an immovable object in a specific location, which is secret, and it's all pointing to South Korea.
So let me get this right. There is a building on a mountain in South Korea that looks like that. I mean, they didn't do the best job at covering their tracks, I would say.
What's that UFO-shaped building for over there?
Definitely not to cover up a downed UFO, don't overthink it. The idea that craft's so large that can't be moved is something we hear about a lot. We saw one alleged site in the US in a previous video for regular viewers of this channel. You just know that one of these days a building is going to suddenly take off into the sky. We are such a strange species, the things that we enjoy.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night, part 79. This photo was sent to me by a viewer. They said, years ago, my daughters were playing in the bathroom. I was laying in my bed and I snapped this photo. I posted it to my Instagram stories and my sister replied, "Who is that old woman in the photo?" I zoomed in and saw her. She is definitely not my daughter. We live in a 135-year-old house, so we have crazy things happen all the time, but this was the first time we caught it on camera.
Well, that gives a whole new meaning to Mum, I don't want to brush my teeth. That is an old lady. Is that staged or is that the real story? Because if so, move house as fast as you can.
What's going on here? Hey, man, what are you doing? Because I got a few of these on my block. What? Whoa, hold up. Let me get this straight. You wrap a wire around a fire hydrant and that creates service for you to use a cell phone? Shut up! So why am I paying a cell phone bill? Mind you guys, this was in 1920. Question is, who are these two women right here? That's the real question. Because I need to know something. Maybe they got family that's still here that knew something about this, because I'm tired of paying my phone bill if I could just go outside and wrap a wire around a fire hydrant.
That probably still has better reception than my phone.
I think the US government probably has unlocked 0 point or close to 0 point energy, which would be pulling energy out of the vacuum. We have inventors that have done that over and over and over. There's a man named Charles Pogue who in the 30s tinkered with his carburetor and was able to get 200 miles a gallon. It's proven. It was engineers, investigated, scientists. It's totally proven. It worked. He was going to be a zillionaire or whatever. He's going to transform society. And the problem was, once the news of his engine got out, the oil stocks crashed. They just crashed. So the oil industry lobbied the U.S. government, we have to do something about this. And in 1951, the Invention Secrecy Act was passed. So now, if you patent any device that is more than 20% efficient, that's instantly classified. That is now a state secret. It's vital to national security. You can't talk about it. You can't build it. And you can't sell it unless you sell it to the U.S. military. You cannot do it.
We keep coming across this idea of free energy.
All disappears. All that research goes away. And this repeats over and over and over again till we get to Stanley Meyer. And you might remember Stanley Meyer and the water car, because this is the 1990s now. So now we have a vehicle that we're not even talking about fossil fuels and protecting a multi-trillion-dollar industry. We've got a car that runs on water using electrolysis, which has been around since the 1700s. But electrolysis requires a lot of energy and perfect water without impurities. But Stanley's figured out how to take tap water, put it into his car, and run his car on water. And what it does is splits the water into hydrogen, oxygen, runs on hydrogen. Hydrogen is a fuel, it works. And it works, and he drives it all over the place. It's all over the news. Engineers look at it. They say, this is the invention of the century. This changes everything. He's offered $1 billion and millions of dollars, and everyone wants his engine. And he's sitting at a Cracker Barrel with his brother and some investors, and they raise a glass to toast the new investment and go into the future. And they take their toast, and Stanley suddenly doesn't feel well. He runs outside. He starts vomiting. His brother chases after him and says, "What's going on?" And Stanley says, "They me." And
I've never heard of those cases before because I'm an idiot, but it's not too hard to imagine that anyone who could create free or cheap energy would meet an early demise. Let me know your thoughts. This has been the James Linker Experience. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.